just how you do it. Mine was a spiral, starting at
Yeah.
the heart and then spiral out, and then you come back and close it. But
Oh, that
how is
sounds,
yours? Just
that
curious.
sounds, yeah, that sounds very cool. So with mine, I find in this culture, most people are very disconnected with their lower chakras and with the earth energy. So my primary objective when I have my groups at our local library is to have people become connected with the earth. You might have heard people talk about grounding. So we start with our feet and we start connecting with that earth energy. And we are drawing that energy up through our feet and legs. And then we proceed then to each of the energy centers. And they all have a slightly different characteristics. And so I'll give a little bit of imagery for each one as we pass through low to high. And then we'll connect finally to all the chakras, cloak ourselves with a healing capsule of energy, and then spend some time in silent meditation, which I believe is the most healing.
It's wonderful.
Milena, I'm the one that taught you the spiral.
No, I didn't know if you wanted me to tell her that or not.
Oh, I don't care.
Myra was my teacher for many years.
Awesome.
This is not my technique. It's Dr. Drew Joyce, who I started studying with in 1980. And so I've been doing energy work since 1980. And I had been meditating before that, listening to different tapes, doing, different, because I didn't know how to get my mind quiet. So I had 4 kids at home, I had a busy job, and I knew I had to quiet my mind before I went to work. But I didn't know how to do it, so I bought some tapes. Which helped. But I'm not one, now at this time in my life, I don't like meditations with a lot of words anymore because I like to move more into silence. And I have found after studying with him that he focused so much on the heart center that I found that I could get to that quiet place focusing at the heart center first. And it was just amazing that I thought, wow, I could really get there faster. So he introduced me to the heart center, which is my purpose. I'm a healing touch person. I've been teaching chakras and energy work since 1988 or 1980. So I understand exactly what you're saying. I've been teaching that for a long time. And I also agree with grounding, because a lot of people are out there, but there's so many different ways. I guess you have to personalize it for people who are not, I've met people who are too grounded and they don't get up the upper chakras.
Yes.
And
Yes, people tend either down or up, I find.
Right,
so
right.
It's important to sort of try to even things out.
I think the heart center is really the most important chakra because
It is.
it brings together the lower centers, the upper centers, and the heart center brings you into the present time. You're not in the past, you're not in the present or the future. You're really focused on now, and that's where we have to be when we meditate, focused on now and to quiet the mind. And so that has been my teaching since 1988.
And what is the name of your teacher again? I didn't quite catch that.
He's now long gone. Dr. Drew Joy. Excuse me. Dr.
Okay.
Joy. He has a fascinating history that he was an endocrinologist and he had a meditation.
Joy's Way. I have his
Joy's
book.
Way,
Okay,
yeah.
great. Yeah, I know him. Wonderful.
And
There's a group of meditators called the Heartfulness Way that I'm in touch with some of them too, and it's a great way of meditating through the heart.
I studied with him from 1980 off and on till 2009 when he died, and his whole focus. He worked with dreams all the time, so that's how I got very involved with doing dream work, and And it really fits with the spiritual work because you really have to face yourself. And if you really interpret your dreams and are honest with yourself, you have to face the shadow in you. You have to face that self. So, I mean, I think balancing the chakras, and I know how to do that. We have several techniques, but everything you said is right on. I mean, we need this energy today. And the one thing I found, what you have also said, was when you're centered and quiet and balanced, you are healing presence. And you affect, if you're present and you're healing present, the people, your energy field is way expanded.
That's
And
it.
you affect the people around you without even saying a word. You know,
I love
it's great.
Yeah, I just love that.
I do too. I do too. So I'm just excited about what our work together, your work, my work, we're all doing the same thing.
There's an unlimited need for this work.
Needed, yes, we are all needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question because I've kind of gotten started recently becoming more interested in the chakras and that especially since I like to make the gemstone jewelry, and I've started making bracelets with the different stones for each of the chakras, and I'm wondering if you could recommend some books to read about this. And
Well,
but just chakra balancing, but also because I know that there's a tie-in with the gemstones.
yes, I would recommend my teacher's books. Deborah King wrote several good books. My favorite is Be Your Own Shaman, and that really talks about the chakras in particular. There's also an online site that I love called the Energy Healing Site.
Okay.
And it is so complete. It has amazing features on all the chakras and a lot of associated things. But I couldn't necessarily tell you about the gemstones. I know I did use those when I first started out. Herkimer diamonds, which are a form of quartz. I really felt those strongly when I first started my work. And then it seemed to me that I sort of didn't need that anymore. But I think they're a real bridge for many people, especially when you're connecting with the earth energies. They're terrific. And they're beautiful. I mean, they're beautiful. I love them.
And you, as you hold different ones, they have different feels to them.
They definitely do. Like I said, I could feel the energy of the Herkimer stones really strongly about 10 years ago, and the vortexes in Sedona, and I'm very sensitive to earth energy. And so different people access these things differently. Yeah, so I love your work. It's beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, Jen, I have a question. Like, how I'm not that sensitive to earth energy. I'm interested, like, to learn, to know, how do you catch the energy and then channel it through you? What the energy, what is it like in your eyes? How does it feel? How, even like what kind of color, what shapes or anything that is existence? What is it like for you?
Yes, I understand your question, because I think you're one of those people who tends towards the upper energy.
Yes,
strong
it's
here.
easier for me. Yeah,
it's very easy. So I relate to that, because that's where I am too. And so for us, we need to work extra hard to feel the earth energy. So good practices for connecting with earth energy is anything that is rhythmic, like the drumming, the feel of the vibration. Have you seen those big drums that you hold between your knees and it has a deep, low sound? That would be a great exercise for you if you have access to that. Also, one of the best teachers I know for grounding is a tree. Any tree that you feel a connection with. It's amazing that they also have an energy field. And if you'll stand with your spine next to a tree or hug a tree.
I try
I'm
that.
not kidding. It really works. They actually have a very strong grounding that will help to root you. And you can imagine your feet becoming like roots and connecting to the earth. And any kind of an exercise with your feet or legs. So walking, especially outside in nature, would be really beneficial. And now the weather is just becoming nicer. And I hope in Indiana they allow you to go outside as long as you're, far away from other people. A walk in nature would be wonderful for you.
What does energy feel like to you?
For me, I feel it very strongly in my body. So for me, a feeling of being grounded, I feel a sense of vibration and heaviness in my feet. And I feel this deep calmness, like an incredible peace. And so when I'm next to a really big tree, it's a perfect place to meditate. You just feel so calm and so connected. I think that's why now during these times of stress, most people they're just like out of their bodies with fear and anxiety. And so they have this sensation of being like their life could end at any moment. And the antidote to that is connecting to Earth, to Mother Earth.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good question.
Jan,
Yes, Lynn.
what was it? Hi.
Hi
What was
there.
the name? Hi. What was the name of the book about energy?
Yes,
you
it's
mentioned
called Be Your Own Shaman. And the
I wrote
author
that one.
is Deborah King.
I did write that one down, but you mentioned another one after that.
Oh, this is an online site that I love. It's on the internet and it's very complete. It's called The Energy Healing Site.
Okay.
Yeah, Nancy Hassauer has written it, and it's very well organized, and it has just about anything you could want to know about chakras.
So it is more educating. It's not a practice.
She herself is a practitioner in Seattle, I believe. She's an energy healer like me. And she developed this site because she wants to have this knowledge available. And she makes it available at no charge. She also has a book called Chakra Care, which you can order through her site. And it talks about each of the chakras. And it's an excellent book. But all the information is available on her site also.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I also want to say, I've been a Baha'i a very long time, since 1971.
Mm-hmm.
And Baha'is are encouraged to meditate, as you know, following prayer. And I've never really been able to do that. I've kind of dabbled a little, tried to learn a little of this or a little of that, but it's never been something that I connected with where I would feel motivated to continue. And so I've always, my whole Baha'i life, been really thirsty to find a way to be able to meditate. I have to say that I might say that there's only a couple of instances that I might think that perhaps I was in a state of meditation. Mm-hmm. One would be if I was doing dishes, if my hands were busy. Another is if I'm in the garden, if I'm reading especially, where when my hands are busy, my mind seems to be able to be quiet. Other than that, my mind never really quits. If I wake up in the middle of the night, I start thinking about things. I can't go back to sleep very easily. I just don't know how to quiet my mind.
Yes. And I'm so glad you brought this up, Lynn, because you are in the majority of people. And in fact, most of the members of my family would not sit down to meditate like I do. So what you're saying is completely normal. And I just want to say that it's fine. We are created so different, flowers of one garden, but so different. And so you have to really find the way that works for you to center. And I know Lisa said that she uses the 95 times Allow Pa as her meditation. And that's an example of using a mantra, really, to meditate. And that's extremely helpful for people that have the racing thoughts and, the thoughts that they just won't quit. And so if you have that Allow Pa, or even Allah, or even Apa, just something really simple, then you can continuously hear that word in your mind or say it out loud, and it helps to center your being. And with practice, you'll develop a more of an endurance, being able to do it longer. So, for instance, you might just try it for, 10 Allow Pas, and then you might work up, a little more each day. And then if you feel yourself naturally inclining towards meditation when you're washing the dishes or when you're in the garden, allow that to happen and feel that sense of unity with the divine. Also, prayer beads are wonderful, the tasbih that the Persians use. And there are many beautiful prayer beads that you can use now to keep the fingers occupied. It might be another assistance. And meditation forms are as varied as people. So I would say feel good about yourself, that you need to just find what fits you. It's not one size fits all.
And I do practice the 95 Allow Pas. And I wouldn't say, most of the time, I would not say that I was in a meditative state. I'm in a striving,
Yes.
right, and opening the love in my heart.
Yes.
One thing I have noticed that's very helpful to me is if I'm especially overwhelmed with, it could be anything, lots of stuff going on or whatever, and I know I need to come down, I will put music on. Music is very important to me, especially kind of spiritual nature, that's in the background. That will really help me to kind of, I guess that is a way that helps me to feel that I'm somehow released, where I can just be okay. And I find that for me, the music that's helped me the most is the Hindu songs of prayer and worship. I'm not sure why, but there's, they have a sitar music, and then that voice is very melodic. And
have you ever tried the kirtan,
like that
where
kind of music is almost like that music, like they're meditating. I mean, when they sing their spiritual mantras, they are meditating, and I'm able to kind of tap in, I think, and just feel that flow. Isn't that okay? What did you say?
I was asking if you'd tried kirtan, where you have the meditative chanting. That's from India.
No. How do you spell that?
Yeah, Kirtan, kirtan.
Okay.
And you might enjoy that, because it's both musical and meditative.
I'll check that out. Sometimes I know that God has given knowledge from all sources to all peoples and to all faiths. And sometimes I've had to, and I come from a background before I became a Baha'i where I explored in India, and well, I was a hippie that was searching spiritually. So
Yeah.
I've been exposed to many different, not traditional for America, but traditions in different parts of the world. And sometimes I felt like I felt, oh, not necessarily guilty, but bewildered, wishing so much that I could feel this connection with some Baha'i music. I can from some Persian chanting, that's for sure. But it's just, but it is what it is. It does. I'm just grateful that there's something that can affect.
Well, and I think that there any kind of chanting that brings you up into a divine feeling is. I don't see any harm in enjoying the chanting and the music of other faiths as well. As as long as we are doing our Baha'i practices, our obligatory prayers, our reading the writings morning and evening, and hey, I enjoyed kirtan and the Hindu chanting at my energy healing conferences. They would do that sometimes, and it was a lot of fun. I think there's room for us to enjoy all the cultures in the world, and still keep our own faith and share that. So you have your own special brand.
Would you say that just one last question, would you say that listening to the Hindu chanting is very melodic? Could I feel so silly asking, but would you say that maybe if that affects me, that would be maybe my form of meditation?
Well, I think I
No,
would
I'm still searching.
I would persevere with the 95 times Allahu Akbar and your daily prayer, and then use that as a supplement if it helps you to feel more connected. I don't see the harm in it, but hey, I'm not a clergy here, so you can't take take my word. So but my understanding is that as long as we have our Baha'i practices, that we can enjoy other cultures and other faiths, traditions too, as long as we keep our own practices. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I noticed you said practice, I don't know how many times, and that's the key. You have to just do it a lot. It just won't suddenly come to you. It may take years. I know Myra's done it for, oh my God, how many years? And when we started her classes, she gave us a few techniques, and she said there's infinite techniques. And when I started, I practiced those, but pretty soon you can discard them. You can go to that place so quickly. Like she said, she just goes to the heart, and there was a color meditation that puts your brain theta waves into, calmer states. And for years I did that. Then I didn't need it anymore. Eyes went into it, just went boom, 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 boom through the 4 colors. I was in white, and there I was meditating. But it didn't happen overnight. It takes a long time. You have to do it a little at a time, every day, believe in it, practice turning off your mind. If you don't practice, you're never going to do it,
I agree. That's the key. That's why they call it a practice. And your tolerance will increase the more you do it. In fact, your body will start to ask you for it. So it's really nice to have a special place that you meditate, a special time of day that you meditate, and make a habit of it. And then you'll be surprised. Your body will start to ask for it. You'll just notice, oh, something doesn't feel right. Oh, I haven't said my meditation. Oh, I haven't said my prayer. Oh, I need to do my 95 times Allahu pause. So those structures are very important, especially in these times when perhaps our structure is not what it used to be. We have to create a new structure. And so this is a time that we can use to recreate our daily routines in a way that we can include meditation and prayer in the way that perhaps we've always only aspired to.
So Jan, what is your practice of meditation that you do, if I may ask? I'm assuming it's probably as well as the 95 allow pause. I'm assuming that,
Yeah.
but is there something else that you also do?
Yes. So for me, like we were speaking about, when you practice for a while, you pretty much can get to it quicker, as some others have said. And so for me, meditation is my way of preparing myself to receive the holy writings. So I find the best time for me is immediately in the morning when I wake up. So usually I'll just sit right up in bed and just prop myself up. And then I start by doing a body scan, making sure that each of the energy centers is open. And then I have a favorite prayer that was just translated by Baha'i that is just beautiful. It just briefly sums up everything I want. And then I go into a silent meditation for 20 minutes. And at that time, I'm communing with the spirit. I'm asking for the divine bestowals to descend upon me, and I physically will feel an opening. And so I'll just let that go on as long as I feel that process happening. And then after I feel that's enough, then I just ask myself to be ready for the day. And I will at that time do my daily reading, because I feel my spirit is the most pure and attentive first thing in the morning before I've started my distractions. And that's the time that I will undertake my most challenging writings, usually the tablets of Baha'u'llah or the Bab or Abdul Baha. I'll go to the more heavy duty writings then, and I won't overdo it. I'll just, read maybe a page or two, as much as feels right, and then go on with my day. And then I'll do my, usually I do the short prayer at noon, and then I'll have a booster session of silent meditation in the late afternoon. And I do a form of clearing meditation. So I'm releasing all the distractions and sort of clearing the dust from my mirror that accumulated during the day. And then at that time, it's sort of like a refresher so that I can go into the evening with my family, with my husband, and just have a really nice evening. And then I'll say another short prayer before bedtime. So that's my usual routine. And then, I'll spice it up depending on what's happening.
So I was reflecting on, we keep talking about meditation, but I was thinking, what is the definition of meditation? And you had sent me some quotes, and I sent it in the group chat, and I don't know if people want to look at it, but I was thinking, I'm thinking meditation, just like I'm sitting there without thoughts in my mind, and I know it's more than that, but I was trying to define it. But one of the quotes that you sent is, while you meditate, you are speaking with your own spirit. In that state of mind, you put certain questions to your spirit, and the spirit answers. The light breaks forth, and the reality is revealed. I mean, that's just one quote, and I'm sure there's others, but I'm wondering, do you have a definition that you use of meditation? I know there's not one definition of what that state is, but I'm curious.
Are you asking me? I feel like when my channel is clear and I feel the divine bestowals flowing through me as clearly as I can, that to me that's what I'm going for in meditation. Now, to me, meditation is a process to get there. So when I first started, or if I've had a traumatic day, a stressful day, then there may be a process of purification that needs to happen first. So meditation to me is all those things. It's allowing my body to reset itself. So I know that when I first started to meditate, I used to, when I would feel the energy moving through me, I would go like this. like nobody was watching. And so I would just let my body do this. And I've heard other people that they would shake like this. They might have had traumatic experiences, and the body has a way of releasing that trauma, that stress. And to me, this is all meditation and healing they kind of all blend together. So I guess meditation is all part of that process of bringing ourselves back to our center, back to the very best reflection of the divine energy that we can possibly be. To me, that's meditation.
So Irina shared the quotes that Jan I referenced, and I don't know if you can see it. You have to click some button to see it, but they're really beautiful quotes on meditation.
I also can recommend this book here on meditation. It's by a wonderful Baha'i, and she has compiled really a fantastic amount of information on many, many different types of meditation. And she also has a section that had some of these quotes, not all of them. And it's just a wonderful resource. Nadine gave this book to me, so I don't know where she got it, but highly, highly recommend it.
What is her name? The author?
Her name is Farnaz Masumian. So FarnazMasumian. And the book is called The Divine Art of Meditation. And let's see if I can find. The publisher is George Ronald.
Okay, that's a Baha'i publication,
Yes,
right?
it's a Baha'i publication. And it's a great resource.
Wonderful.
Could you spell her last name again, please?
Yes, it's M like Mary, A, S like Sam, U, M, I, A, N like Nancy.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, these quotes are really beautiful, but Lisa said I should keep it to 20 minutes. And I knew that if I read through all these quotes, you would be tired of my voice. And so, yes, I urge you to look through them later. This is just my idea of the Baha'i quotes that I found that really seem to reflect on meditation. The first one is a talk that Abdul Baha gave to a group of Quakers. And you may be familiar with the Quaker faith and how much they practice silence and silent contemplation. And so I didn't even include all the talk, but he does really praise this method of coming to a consensus and speaks about how groups can sit in silence and can have really important truths revealed to them. I think this is part of their culture that they really developed this highly. And then he praised it for us as individuals, and then closed his talk with that quote about, may we indeed become mirrors reflecting the heavenly realities, and we may become so pure as to reflect the stars of heaven. And so that's what we're going for, but it's a process to get there. So I don't want anybody to be discouraged if you don't feel like you are reflecting the stars of heaven right away. I didn't either, really, and I don't every day. You know, there's ups and there's downs, but giving your body a chance to become part of your spiritual life, to me, that's what meditation is. It's not just leaving my body behind, because I know I'll do that someday when I die. I will leave my body behind. But I feel like there's a very important gift of having physical flesh. And when I was able to access the union of my spirit with my body, something really powerful and unique happened for me. And to me, that's meditation, and that's healing, and that's becoming the best we can as human beings. So, so yeah, I would say just keep trying until you find something that connects for you. Don't become discouraged. And I also wanted to thank you all for spending a Friday night with me, because I'm sure it's been a busy, hectic week for all of you, and you could have done a lot of other things on a Friday night. So
We don't have anywhere to go, Jen.
yeah. Well, you could have watched something really good on Netflix or something. So anyway, you choose to come here, and thank you for inviting me. You guys are just an amazing group and wonderful community.
It's wonderful to have you. Just wonderful. And I hope you'll do this again, because I think we just touched on, you could go much deeper, I think, right?
I could give many talks on many different aspects, but I just thought this would be a good start, and enjoying some of these beautiful resources we have in our Baha'i writings. And then, you know, anybody that wants to go into other stuff, we could do so in this format or another. I am so happy to be a resource.
So Jen,
Thank you so much.
I have a question. If people need to go, feel free to leave. But I just had a question. If somebody asked you, how do you start to meditate?
She read your mind.
She did.
Did you want to, sorry.
No, that's okay.
If you were to start meditating, what do you tell people to do? Like if somebody says, I've never meditated before, what would be a first step?
If you can, be in the presence of an experienced meditator or a group. So that's difficult now because we can't be a group, but we had a group of about 20 or 30 people that gathered together. And so a new person that comes and sits in that group can really, it's like, for you Hawaiians, it's like riding the waves. It's like surfing. It's like you just get carried along with that uplift of the meditation group. So I would say it's very challenging to start meditating by yourself on your own. So, you know, it's possible, but it's a lot easier when you're able to be in the presence. And so now I'm experimenting with, can we have that sense of collective presence on Zoom? Can we do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
I find it's much easier to connect when I can see you. So I don't have a Zoom account, so I've been doing a Facebook Live group. And so people have to type a comment or I can't see them. And it's, you know, I think it's been not as satisfying for people when they can't see each other. So I'm just learning about that right now.
Well, maybe you can get a Zoom account because it's free for 40 minutes.
Yeah. We always run over 40 minutes, though. That's the thing, because
and then you just restart it.
Yeah. So I could try it, and then we just wouldn't finish together. You know, the Zoom would end before we ended. But yeah, maybe I should try that.
It's not that expensive. I think, isn't it $15 a month?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty inexpensive.
If you pay for a year, because that's what I did with my clients, you know, because I'm using Zoom. If you pay for it for a year, it comes out to about, I think, $12.99 a month instead of $15. So you save a little bit. So, and you can be on there as long as you want.
Right.
For each session.
Hey, Jen, I have another question. Like, if you do it online, you said because you cannot see each other. Is that also because you cannot feel each other's energy?
Yeah. So this is very interesting. Like I said, I'm just learning this. So I do energy healing for clients, and you know, when they're in my office, I have my hands on them. I've been trained to channel the energy. It comes out through my hands, and I can feel the response in their chakras in their body, and they can feel my hands and the energy from my hands. Now, the interesting thing is I can do an energy session like this on a client in Utah or China, and it works just the same. So this is non-local stuff here. And in my understanding, my rational mind says, how can this be happening? But my experience says this is happening because I've had that experience. So I believe that this energy that we're accessing, because it's divine energy, it is non-local. It's like prayer. Like you can pray for somebody wherever they are. It doesn't matter. It transcends physicality. It even transcends time, I believe. And so therefore, I know because of my healing sessions being effective, that I know meditation presence can also be effective if we're not in the same place. So yes, I agree that it will be effective. However, the person that is participating has to be open to it, because my healing sessions, it's always a partnership. I'm never forcing my energy. They have to accept it, and we work together with their body's innate ability to balance and heal. And so I believe meditation is the same way. You have to open your heart to receive from that person. Otherwise, there will be absolutely no effect. So it's really about all of us learning, can we be in each other's presence through a screen?
So
Clearly,
like
we can't.
So like when Baha'u'llah said, "Love me that I may love thee. If thou lovest me not, my love can in no wise reach thee."
It's
Does
like
that
that.
describe this?
It does. It absolutely does. Even though, we're not the divine manifestation, but yet we are all reflections of the divine principles. And I do believe that's exactly what it is. Thank you for sharing that quote.
Can I ask who Paula is? I don't know
Paula,
you.
are you here? Paula, where are you?
I'm
Paula!
here, but
Hi.
I'm
Paula's
so
from
glad.
the
Welcome.
meditation
this is
group.
the first time I've done this.
Oh
So-
my gosh, I'm so happy you're here. I had the gallery view and it wasn't showing everybody, and I just saw Ashley and Paula. Hey, so good to see you guys.